has been a very stressful day for me. So today, well, tonight, we are going to be doing a sit and talk
A
with my.
what?
Tonight, we're going to be doing a sit and talk with my very good friend, Glenn. You want to say hi to the stream, Glenn? Introduce yourself?
Uh, what's up? I'm Glenn. I don't really know what else to say. It's a bit
So,
awkward.
for the past, I'd say half an hour, me and him have been talking. And it kind of gave me the the courage to do a stream about it, about what we've been talking about. So the premise of what we've been talking about is how everybody lets other people's judgment on them impact how they feel about themselves.
Hey, you just can't let it bother you. They start saying something that's like really rude and you know it is, just walk away.
And that's one thing that everybody's got to work on, including myself. Because
And I,
I let people cloud my judgment about myself. And it hurts me because I judge myself on how other people see me. And
I know it's not as easy as it sounds to just walk away. It is pretty hard, but sometimes you gotta make hard decisions.
and when someone is being negative towards you, I'm gonna pull out what my mom always tells me. Two wrongs don't make a right. So if
And that
some
is exactly true.
so if someone is sitting there being rude to you, don't be rude back. Because like Glenn said before to me, they're just trying to make you feel bad so they can feel better about themselves because they're sad. Instead of getting going back at them, being rude to them, show them love that they need. Be nice. Compliment
Just
them.
try to talk to them about what's going on. And that could
Because
probably help them with their problems too. Because
exactly.
you never know what else, you never know what someone else is going through.
And if that doesn't work talking to them, compliment them. Because they're going to be so shook up from their issues and being annoyed that when they get a compliment, it'll throw them in a loop and it'll change their emotions. And I have personally done this and it works. Not all the time does it work, but 90% of the time, if you compliment someone when they are having a bad day, it will kind of make them rethink about how to approach someone at that time.
I get like bullied a lot for what I wear or how I look. I just, shrug it off and walk away. I'm at this point in life where it doesn't even bother me what they say.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't do that, including me. I let what people talk about me or say about me impact me badly.
Yeah, don't do that, man. Don't fight yourself over what someone else has to say about you.
Because at the end of the day, you are your own worst enemy. Because when you
It's
get
not
in,
even worth it.
because when you get into your mind and you accept what other people say about you as how you should feel about yourself, then that's what's going to cloud your judgment at the end of the day. And you can't do that because you got to focus on you and do what's good for you. I will be right back, guys.
Uh,
I am back, guys. As I was saying, you really are your own worst enemy. And if you let other people cloud your judgment of yourself, you are going to hurt yourself mentally and physically. Because then you're going to look at yourself and be like, I'm not good enough. And then you're going to try and forcefully change yourself, change your appearance, change your personality. And then you're only going to be hurting yourself. Because you got to love yourself and accept you for who you are. Because if you don't, who really are you? Nobody's perfect in this world. Not one person. Not God.
That's just straight up facts.
Not you. Not me. Not the Pope. Everybody has their own flaws in their own special way. You just have to embrace it. Embrace your flaws and look at them and use your flaws to make you better.
Exactly. That's just how you gotta look at life, man.
Life is just one big game. Everybody thinks that they can control it. At the end of the day, you can't. Because when you try to control it, that's when you lose control of yourself. Because you gotta learn how to control your mental state and your emotional behavior before you can try and control life.
Like you were saying before, it's totally true. You gotta love yourself before you choose to love anyone else. That's just straight up facts.
And that's where a lot of people struggle. Like, I want to get married
You
one
gotta
day.
accept yourself.
Exactly. But, like, I want to get married one day. But before I can get married, I have to find the person that I truly love. And before I can do that, I have to love myself and love me for who I am. And that might kind of sound egotistical or, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a self-centered person. But it's really not. Because you have to live with you. Everybody around you can live with you or they cannot. It's their decision. But you as a person,
They could run away, you can't.
exactly. You
You
as a
can't run away
person,
from your problems either.
you as a person have to learn how to live with yourself. And when you have problems and you try and run away, you may be able to run for a little bit, but then you are just gonna like come back to them eventually, one way or another.
And
Those issues,
sometimes they might get worse too.
exactly. Those issues that you're trying to run from will end up coming back and biting you in the ass because you tried running from them. It's better to
They're
deal
not
with your
gonna go away either.
exactly. It's better to deal with your issues when you got them rather than bottling them up and hoping and praying that they don't resurface. But when you bottle that stuff up, you're just hurting yourself because you're just a ticking time bomb at that point. Whether you like to
Uh,
admit it or not, one day you're going to snap and you're going to hurt a lot of people, whether it be mentally, physically, or emotionally. And the worst part about it of all, you're going to hurt yourself the worst.
yeah,
And like my mom always told me, blood is thicker than water. Friends will
it's
come and
true.
go, but family will always be there. And if you destroy that bond with your family, you will have nobody when you're at your lowest of your low. Yeah, your friends may say that they're there for you, but they're not going to be there for you like family would. Like, I lost my cousin 5 years ago. I wish I could have been there for him. And it's hard. I look back at that day every day of my life. and try and think of what I could have done better.
Yeah, don't blame it on yourself. I lost a friend due to a dryer fire, which I know that's not my fault, but I still blame it on myself.
And like the fact that like we try and change everybody, even
See what we do?
ourselves.
We try to change the past, but you can't.
Exactly.
You can't
That
change what happened before, but you could change what happens in the future.
that brings me to my next point. If you're so engulfed and dwelling on the past, you're gonna miss the future that you have ahead of you. And that's where people fuck themselves up the most. Because they try and change the past, change what they've done, or change what other people have done in the past that hurt them, other people, their loved ones, that they are inevitably hurting themselves more in the future because they're focusing on something that cannot be changed rather than dealing with stuff that can be changed in the future.
And you're gonna waste a lot of time actually trying to change the stuff in the past that you like can't do anything about.
And this is very therapeutic for me. And like, I'm just now starting to try and open up to like a therapist and talk. And that's what everybody needs. They need someone, whether it be a therapist, a friend, a family member, or even just a journal to open up. Take 5 minutes of your day and meditate. Even if you don't have anything playing, no music, no set schedule, 5 minutes of your day to sit down, close your eyes, and focus on your breathing. And think things through. Because when you start doing that, you will inevitably open up doors that have never been opened before for you. And if you don't walk through them, you are missing out on an opportunity of a lifetime. And I know people think that meditation is for hippies and that meditation is stupid. But meditation is just you connecting with you. And when people say that if you hear a voice in your head, you're crazy. But that voice that you hear in your head is you. And that voice has grown up with you. It has changed right along with you. And it's like how people always say you always got a devil and an angel on your shoulder. That voice is the devil and the angel. Because it might tell you to do something that you don't want to do. But you take the risk anyway because you're curious. Now, whether or not that risk that you take is good or bad, you still do it because you're curious. And that's the type of stuff that you gotta focus on. You gotta focus on yourself because that voice in your head knows you because it is you. When you sit there and talk to yourself, who are you really talking to? When you pray, who are you really praying to? That's your time to connect with yourself. And I'm not a very religious guy. I'll come right out and say that. Never have been. But I believe in a place. A place where you can Just be yourself. Now, after death, I am just like everybody else. I don't know what happens. Because how can we actually tell what happens after you die? We don't know if you go to heaven or if you go to hell. Don't even know if those places really exist. But
We
it's
don't
it
even know why we're here.
exactly. What is the point of us being alive on this planet? What's the point of going up in space? Because we're curious. And the realism of heaven and hell and God and the devil and Christianity or Judaism or Catholicism or being a Catholic, I don't know what that's called, but you get the gist. It gives people something to believe in and have faith in, you know?
In reality, we don't know if any of that exists, or if it's just a fantasy.
Exactly. What is reality?
We don't know what's real or fake at this point either. You just gotta believe. That's what people say. Just believe, believe. Believe what?
Believe the inevitable reality that we're all gonna die one day.
Nobody lives forever.
What was that?
I said no, nobody lives forever. Not even
Exactly.
animals.
Yes, there's like 300-year-old turtles, but someday they will die too. Because sadly, this world is so cruel. This life is so cruel. And when you finally sit down and realize that you cannot change the inevitable, is when you really become one with yourself, with others,
The
and just
worst part is when you finally trust someone and then they just backstab you completely.
exactly. When you finally open yourself up and become vulnerable because you trust someone or you love someone, and then they turn around and rip your heart into shreds, that's when you become depressed,
It's
as
not
people
fun.
would say. But really, what is depression? People have so many ways of explaining depression. Scientists have done studies, but what do those studies actually show? People have invented medication for depression. But what is depression? What defines you as being depressed? You being hurt.
Actually, I'll tell you something. Depression is what happened in the past and you just keep thinking about it. And anxiety is what you're overthinking about is going to happen in the future. That's what anxiety is. Because, like, you're thinking multiple scenarios on what could happen, but, that's not always the case.
And you're not focusing on what is happening.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you force yourself to think that this is going to happen, but it really doesn't. It's more like the worst case scenario thing. And depression is just things that happened in the past that you can't get over.
Exactly. And it hurts to sit there and admit that you've been hurt in the past. But you need to admit it to get over it. Can't dwell on the past. The
Yeah,
past
you
is the
can't
past.
you can't move forward if you can't get over your past.
Like my mom always tells me, you move 5 steps forward and you move 20 steps back. Because when you finally start getting an inch of what reality is to you and trusting yourself and loving yourself, that's when you start doubting yourself again because you look back on what happened in the past. You look back at what you did wrong, and then you start going down into this deep, dark hole of depression, of sadness, of self loathing, grieving over something as simple as being not being there for someone. And when you get into that self loathing state and that subtonic depression state where you lock up your emotions, you lock up your ability to comprehend things, that's when you start to deconstruct yourself in the worst
Depression's
ways.
not hard to get over either.
It's not, but
What
people,
I meant to say was it's not easy to get over.
it's not.
I
I
said
know
the
what you
wrong
meant,
word.
but it's not easy. Because when you get into that state where you are depressed and you truly are sad, it's hard to overcome your sadness, your irritability for people, for yourself. But at that point in your life, when you feel that the most, is when you need to get the most help. When you need to surround yourself with people who love you. And if you don't, you're just destroying what you could potentially be. Because you have potential. Everybody has potential to do great things. It's when
Here's
you
some,
could.
huh? I was gonna say, here's some of my stuff that always tells me you could do anything or be anyone as long as you put your mind towards it.
Exactly. And that's what people don't understand. You can literally do anything. Who, like, why would someone want to go to space? Who figured out how to go to space? What was the reasoning behind it? Because they wanted to. They put their mind to something when people told them that they were crazy. And they
Yeah,
accomplished
they were
something
told that they
great.
couldn't do it,
Look
that
at
it was
Albert.
impossible.
I'm gonna bring in one of my biggest idols. Someone I really look up to. Look at Albert Einstein. He had Down syndrome and autism. In school, he was told he was never going to be amount to anything. He wasn't smart. That's what people told him. And he took that hatred, that criticism, and made himself better. And he became one of the smartest human beings to ever touch this earth. And you can't judge a book by its cover.
You
So,
know what? He believed in himself, and his mom believed in him. I
exactly.
think that's what helped.
That reassurance that everything was going to be okay and that he could do something is what really helped him. He looked past all the haters, all the people that diminished him, pushed him down, told him he wasn't going to do anything in his life. And he made his life great. He made something out of himself that nobody expected out of him but himself and his mother and his family. You can go really deep in this. This is a rabbit hole that you can be on the topic of for hours upon hours.
It's
Just
just a topic that's not easy to get over,
exactly.
because it's a
And
lot of true things that are being said.
a lot of true things. And it's a lot of true things that people don't want to realize. But once you finally open your mind and open to the fact that you can't change everything, you can only change you, that's when you start to realize that you have meaning and you might not appeal to everybody. But if as long as you appeal to yourself and you believe in yourself, that's when you can really start to grow mentally, physically, and emotionally. And this is this really is a very, very, very touchy subject that nobody really likes to talk about because people don't think people don't think enough to sit there and talk like this, talk about stuff like this. And when you finally accept it and accept the things that are happening to you and accept the things that you want to happen to you, that's when you really realize what you want. And when you finally realize what you want in life, you can truly learn to love yourself for who you are. I'm gonna let you take over for a few, because I'm gonna go use the bathroom.
Uh, I don't really know what to, talk about because we
Neither
just
will I.
talked about a lot of stuff. Well, another thing is too, find like an outlet that makes you feel comfortable, like that you enjoy doing, and you could use that as a coping skill to get away from things.
I'll be
That
back
will
in one
actually
minute.
help out.
All right.
Alright. Huh?
Now, I don't know everything he said when I was gone, but I would like to go back to the fact that he said you guys need to find a coping mechanism. Whether that be
Yeah,
reading a book, going for a walk, going for a hike,
I was just
coloring.
talking about coping skills.
One of my
Like,
coping skills is working out. And when I am angry, sad, stressed out, or I feel alone, I'm depressed, I find that it is always nice to relieve that stress. Working out is my way of releasing it, or playing video games. And when I work out, I blow off steam. And everybody needs that in their life. You need some way to release that anger, that built up sadness in a healthy manner, not on an outburst of rage or suicidal thoughts or intentions. Because you are worth so much more. Your life is so precious, but yet so delicate. And it can be ended so quick, faster than the blink of an eye. And you
you
really
know,
gotta take care of yourself.
I was always told this as a kid, and it kind of stuck in. You're never promised tomorrow. You're not even promised like a few minutes from now.
You are exactly true, sir.
I
You are
want you
not
to always think about that. It bugs you.
you are not promised tomorrow. You are only promised the moment that you are living in, and you have to cherish that moment. Cherish every day of your life. Live every day of your life like it's your last. Because truly, when you truly live your life to the fullest, life is so beautiful. And not many people truly understand that. And I know that everybody has been told different things throughout their life as a child, a young adult, even as adults. You're still told something, and you still learn something every day. It's the way that you use that wisdom that you learn, or the wisdom that is given to you by other people. The way you use it is what's going to dictate how your day goes, or your week, or your month, your life, your year. You got to understand how to use it the right way. Because when,
Gonna start calling you DR Phil.
thank you, Nolly. But anyway, as I was saying, the wisdom that you are given is a gift. You may not realize that it is a gift in the moment, but one point in your life, you will realize that that gift that you were given is worth so much more than you understand. And that understanding and acceptance goes way beyond what you are capable of comprehending. But when you finally start to understand what it means, or the importance behind that gift that you are given, known as wisdom, is when you will excel and when you will become one with your inner self. Now, I know I'm kind of repeating myself in a way, but this this conversation, this whole dialogue that I am saying to you can be portrayed in so many ways. It can be taken and picked apart with a fine-tooth comb so many different ways, and you will never come out with the same results. You just kind of
Another
gotta
thing is,
roll with the punches.
yeah, us humans like to take everything for granted until like we don't have it anymore. And that's just a straight up fact.
That is facts, because
We take everything for granted.
we really do. Look at global warming. We take the fact that we have heat in our home, gas in our car, or even a car alone. We abuse that privilege because we don't know any better. We've grown up our lives being privileged. And when you are a privileged person or a privileged species, you lose appreciation for the little things and you take everything for granted.
And I don't like this whole racism stuff because I think of everyone equally.
Everybody bleeds red.
It's just a subject that I want to be able to touch on. Like, you shouldn't think of someone better than the other person. We're all equal. We're all here for the same reason. We all eat, sleep, drink, and breathe.
Breathe the same air, walk on the same
Yeah,
ground.
yeah. So like, what's the issue?
What's the point of saying that one race is superior over the other?
That's like having a kid and saying, "Oh, I don't want this kid because it's a boy."
Exactly.
That's literally what that's like.
And like touching on this subject, going to the aspect of Black Lives Matter. Yes, Black Lives Matter. I feel bad for the poor man who died that fateful night. But at the same aspect, doesn't all lives matter? Not
Yeah, I
just
was just
black
gonna
lives?
say that too. All lives matter.
We are all human beings. No matter you're black, white, orange, purple, green, nothing. You are a
Even if you're
human
an
being.
animal.
Exactly.
Like, I
You
felt
will breathe.
really terrible. Huh?
No matter what kind of species you are, what race, what ethnicity, you are a human being, a living creature, something that has emotions. And your emotions mean a lot. But in this day and age, your emotions can be twisted and taken for granted. And in the case of um, Mr. Floyd, he passed away due to police brutality. I'm not going to lie about that. Now, that should not set an overlook on how all cops are, because cops are very, very nice. They will help you no matter what. But it's the people that are bad in this world that put a negative outlook on everybody.
Yeah, like he was saying, not all cops are bad. I know a couple good cops, but I also know a couple bad cops.
And how can you sit there and judge someone for being bad when you're not perfect?
Nobody's perfect.
Like my mom tells me, if you're not perfect, you can't judge other people. You can't diminish other people because you yourself are not perfect. Nobody is. Unless if you're perfect, then you're a robot. Even then, you're not perfect.
That's just straight facts.
And nobody really likes to sit down and think about that and understand that because people's minds are too focused on material items like their cell phone, PlayStation, Xbox, internet, YouTube,
That's
Hulu,
all we care
everything.
about is materialistic things.
The things that mean the most in this world is bonds with people. The things that will bring you enjoyment are nice to have.
And cherish their time because you're not going to have them forever.
Exactly. And if you make that decision in your life to cut people off, cut ties with family, one day they're going to pass away. And they're going to pass away on terms with you that were not good. And then you're going to look back at that time where you had that one stupid argument over something that is so stupid to be arguing over. You are going to look back at that and dwell on that. And it's going to hurt you. It's going to haunt you. But,
Even if the last time that you ever see them is one argument, that's going to stick with you forever.
and going back to what he mentioned before, tomorrow's not promised. So if you sit there and argue with a family member, telling them you hate them, telling them that you wish that they were dead, what if tomorrow never comes for them? What if tonight is the last night that you see them?
You'll eat
And
all of your words.
it'll come back and bite you in the ass really hard. Because that last thing that you said, the last thing that they heard you say to them, it's going to go to their grave with them. And then those words, that last argument, last statement you said to them,
You can never take it back either.
no, no.
That's why I really not try to fight with anyone.
And like my mom
You never
says,
know when their last is.
exactly. I've been mentioning this a lot, like my mom says, actions speak louder than words. So if you make the action of hurtful sayings, then those actions will put forth the relationship that you build with these people. And if it's the last time that you see them, those actions that you had committed towards them, the hateful things that you said, will end up haunting you forever. And that will be something that you would have to carry to your grave. Because you were self-centered and egotistical enough to say these hurtful, diminishing things to people that you should be caring about and loving
You
and
know,
cherishing the time with.
everyone fights. It's alright to fight. Like, it's especially if they're about to go out in the car because you don't know if they're going to come back.
Like when I have an argument with my mom, we don't always see eye to eye. But at the end of the day, when she's going to bed and I'm going to bed, I take 5 minutes out of my time to apologize to her and come back to better terms. Because I may wake up and she doesn't. Or she may wake up and I don't. And if we left off on a fight, that would haunt either one of us. And I wouldn't want that. And I know that nobody lives forever. That's a proven fact. The oldest person that ever lived was 103 years old. But even at that age, everybody's got skeletons in their closet. And they're just afraid to release it. As Eminem once said, You gotta clean out your closet. I don't want to get copyrighted, but he told the truth. And one thing that I admire about Eminem is all the shit he has been through. He tells everything. He's an open book. And that's what you need in your life. You need to be open. Open with the people that love you the most. Open with yourself. Because I'm going to demonstrate in sound. You are in a tunnel. And that tunnel is very dark. But as you start to get deeper and deeper into that tunnel, you will eventually come to the end of the tunnel. But if you don't accept the journey that you were going through, the pain that you were going through that tunnel, even though you reach the end, you will just go right back into the tunnel and going deeper and deeper. And as you go deeper and deeper into that tunnel, your fears will be portrayed to you through an echo that only you can hear, only echo that you can see.
You know, it took a lot, but I went back and I apologized to my dad. I just made everything right with him because, like you said before, you never know when anything's gonna happen to them. And yes, I will eat all my words that I said to him,
But at least you came to terms.
but I just sat down and had a talk with him about, like, you know, why I stopped talking to him in the first place. I kind of like set me straight and helped me out a little bit.
But like, at least you came to terms with him and faced your demons and settled the disagreements.
Yeah, I squashed whatever we had. It took a lot, but
And on that journey through that road, did at any point you felt sadness,
I felt a
scared,
lot of sadness.
lonely?
I just like got caught up into my thoughts a lot while talking to him. Just 'cause like everything that happened. We'll touch on that a different day. But
And that's a great topic to get onto. Because I have a I have a dad, I have a father, and then I have someone who gave me life. Now the person that gave me life is not good, not at all. He was very, very abusive to my mom,
yeah, that's how my dad is.
and
But huh.
and he left before I was born. And my mom took him back, gave him a second chance, and then he did the same thing over again. And I kind of came to terms with the fact that he isn't my dad. He isn't my father. The person that's right down the hall sleeping is my father. He is my dad. He is the
That's how it
person,
is for me.
besides my mom, who has been there for me for my whole life.
That's how my stepdad is. He's been there for me since I was 5 years old. I'm 16 now, so
And that's what people really need in their life. They need someone that they can trust and
I didn't have a
respect.
dad. And you know what? It took a lot of balls to raise someone else's kids.
Exactly. Because that person, your stepdad, could have left. He didn't have to
Yeah,
stay.
he asked for help from my real dad. He just laughed at him.
He didn't have to stay at
Which,
all, but he chose
yeah,
to.
yeah, he didn't have to. Yeah, he's not perfect, but he's better dad than my real dad. I
And
just made ends meet with like my real dad, my biological dad. Like I said before, if anything happens, I wouldn't feel as bad about myself.
because you came to terms with him, you guys met on even ground. And
Not like I want to talk to him every day.
and you don't have to, but at least you came to acceptance with him and came to common ground, as you might say.
I feel that's all that matters.
And in the hindsight of things, it's really all that does matter. As long as you come to common terms and acceptance with your loved ones, your family, your biological parents, whether they are in your life or not. If you come to acceptance with them and acceptance with the situation that has been presented in front of you, no matter how hard, how long the journey and road is, it will benefit you in the long run. And the road that you are on may be very, very dark and
And
very, very long.
that's another thing that helped with my depression. Actually being able to talk to him and, talk things through.
Hmm.
It helped out a little bit with my depression. And that's just what some people need.
It really is. People need that acceptance in their life and that reassurance,
The,
because reassurance is the key to success.
subjects bringing tears to my eyes.
I'm sorry, man.
Now you're good. It's not you, it's just the memories, that's all.
I mean, hey, at least you're getting it out with a friend.
Yeah, well, I haven't cried in over a year, so
Damn, I am kind of hungry.
I just became numb to everything.
Yeah, and that's a big issue with these days with people is you kind of just become so susceptible to judgment, whether it be from yourself or other people, that you really do just become numb.
Just think it's normal.
Exactly. You think that you not feeling emotion in a certain situation is normal, and it's not.
And
It
you know
really
what
isn't.
killed me? So, I just started feeling, like my feelings about, again, can't talk right now. Jesus. I just got my feelings back. Like I was able to feel things and stuff. There's one girl, she actually helped me with it, but after that she just left and she wanted nothing to do with me. And that really killed me, man.
And when you were able to actually like feel again, if you will, how how did you feel?
I felt terrible. Like, I know. I said it's been a year since I cried, which it was. That was the last time I actually cried. And it wasn't cool.
But like sometimes you need to cry. You need to let that
I just
sadness out.
I just grown numb to everything again. And I'm not gonna let that free again.
And you said that you became numb. When was the first time since you became numb that you felt
First time,
like that
I
you
was
actually
around
felt like
like,
emotions?
what, When I didn't feel emotions, or I
Like,
did feel emotions?
after the fact of you being numb, when was the first time that you felt emotions again?
Oh,
Any
well,
kind
that
of
was like a
emotion?
year ago. Cause that girl, she helped me get over it, and then she just like ruined me right afterwards.
And heartbreak is a very, even if you're not like dating someone,
Yeah, I wasn't even dating her.
but
She was
like
my best friend.
when you have someone like that, a best friend, partner, a true love, if you will, and they help you through so much, and then just all of a sudden up and leave, you kind of get back into like being numb, and you become like a turtle. You hide away in your shell, and you put on an act, if you will, to please people.
Half the emotions I show anymore aren't even real. Like, I'm always happy every time I see you and stuff, which that's real feelings. 'Cause, like, I'm happy to see you. But,
But like when you're around other people and you don't feel comfortable enough to open up,
like,
you
for
put on
instance, when
fake
I'm around Doug, I just put on an act.
because you kind of feel like you have to.
But deep down inside, I'm really, like, not fine.
And it's true friends, true homies, true family that will see you in that catatonic state and really notice that you're not okay. And
I
they will
could say
ask you,
I'm fine now, but that doesn't mean I'm fine.
the term I am fine can be viewed in so many different ways and can be elaborated in so many different ways to the point where I'm fine kind of becomes the general term for I need help or I am sad.
And the worst part's when you actually make yourself think that you really are fine, but you're not.
And that's when the most self deconstruction begins. When you convince yourself that you are okay and you're not
You're really not okay, but you just tell yourself you're okay.
because you have to.
And then you believe that you're actually okay, but you're not.
And then that's when self harm, whether it be mental, physical, or emotional, really begins to take place. Is when you try and convince yourself you're okay, when deep down inside you are a nervous wreck, you are sad, angry, hurt, and you put on a facade for people. And I am guilty of it. I do it all the time. And I know I shouldn't because,
And the other thing is,
sorry, go ahead.
huh? I was just gonna say, like, you don't want people to feel bad for you.
You really don't. Like, pity is the gateway to self loathing. When you see that people have pity for you, you're not going to want to do anything. You're going to want to.
It's not gonna make you any better as a person.
Exactly. When when you finally can feel emotions again, it's not going to be the same. Because when you truly aren't okay and you want help, you kind of have it drilled into your mind that you are okay when you're not. Like when, for instance, when everything happened with my cousin, I told everybody I was okay when I wasn't. And then that kind of became a ritual for me. When people ask me, am I doing okay today? I say I'm fine. But deep down inside, I'm hurt. And a lot of times when people say I'm fine or I'm okay, That's their way of crying for help. And when nobody listens and nobody notices, that's when it becomes worse. Sorry if you hear squeaking. I'm trying to tighten my pop filter.
Worst part's when someone reaches out to help, well, for help, and you don't know how to help them, then it's too late.
By the time you finally figure out how to help them, it is too late. The damage has already been done enough to where they don't know what to do. And at that point in time, you kind of lose all hope.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Me too.
I'm back. You there?
I am back, guys. Are you there, Glenn? So I'm gonna try and end the topic and end the conversation because I have got to go to bed soon. But I hope
Yo,
I can hear you now. I hope,
can you hear me now?
yeah, I hope that someone somewhere hears this whole video, and listens and opens their heart and knows
Yeah, I hate.
that there
uh,
is help.
I hope they take those words as inspiration and not hurt themselves or others.
And this may seem stupid, but I'm going to tell you guys the suicide hotline
Oh,
number.
I could barely hear you.
I said, I know it's going to sound stupid, everybody, but in case these words that we have been speaking do not come across to you as inspiration or help you with your depression, your anxiety, your sadness, I'm going to give you the suicide hotline number. They are always there to help. If you truly feel like you want to hurt yourself, please call this number. They will help you. The number is 800 273 8255. Again, That number is 800-273-8255. Please reach out for help. There's always help. You do not have to come to terms with death because your life is precious and you should be able to live your life to the fullest, not have to kill yourself because you're sad. I appreciate everyone's time. I thank you for listening. I hope this helps, and I hope you have an amazing night. Good night, everybody. Just know I love all of you. I love every single one of you guys. And even though I might not know any of you, or all of you, I am here to talk.